Hello everyone. Today we're going to be learning about exploring the history of the typewriter. The table of contents for today will be what is a typewriter, who invented it, the inventors and the history, the models, the features, and conclusion. So, what is a typewriter? A typewriter is a mechanical or electromechanical machine for typing characters. It has an array of keys that produce characters on paper by striking an inked ribbon against the paper, producing legible documents. And they were officially called typewriters by the end of the 19th century. Who invented the typewriter? The typewriter had several inventors due to the different versions of typewriters created through the years and around the world. The earliest version of a typewriter was created in 1575 by Italian printmaker Francesco Rampacetto. It was called the scrittura tattile, which was a machine used to impress letters into paper. So these are some inventors throughout the years. For example, in 1714, Henry Mill received a patent written for a machine similar to the typewriter. In the 1802, Italian Agostino Fantoni developed a particular typewriter to enable his blind sister to write. And these are just some other inventors that we won't really get into right now because there's a lot to go through. So, the advancement of writing. The increased pacing of business communications in the mid 19th century required that more writing machines needed to be created to keep up with the competition. Stenographers and telegraphers could write 130 words per minute, while writing in pen took 30 words per minute. From 1829 to 1870, many typewriters were patented in Europe and America, but didn't make it into commercial production. So these are some typewriters from the 1829 to 1870. For example, in 1843, American Charles Thurber developed multiple patents, such as his first one, the chirographer, in 1845 to aid blind people in typewriting. In 1855, Italian Giuseppe Rovizza created a prototype typewriter called the script harpsichord, which showed the writing as it was typed. And these are some other different ones. Okay, so the Hansen writing ball. In 1865, Rasmus Malling Hansen of Denmark invented the Hansen writing ball, which went into commercial production in the 1870s and was the first commercially sold typewriter. The Shaw and Glidden typewriter. The first typewriter to commercially successful was patented in 1868 by Americans Christopher Latham Schultz, Frank Heaven Hall, Carlos Glidden, and Samuel Soule in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Although Schultz soon disowned the machine and refused to use or even recommend it, this is the first typewriter to have a QWERTY layout. The index typewriter. The index typewriter was marketed in the early 1800s using a pointer or stylus to choose words from a index and print the letter with a lever. And it was slower than keyboard type machines, but were simpler and lighter, allowing for easy travel and easier to produce. Standardization. By 1910, typewriters had reached a standardization of how they operate. This included each key had a letter molded in reverse to the striking head. The platen moved to the left horizontally as it types. That plantel resets after reaching the far right side. A small bell rings when reaching the far right, notifying the typist to finish the word and use the carriage return level. And typewriters that use right to left typing operated in reverse to the standardization. Front striking. Earlier, typewriters had a design that the typist could not see what was being typed until the carriage returned to the left side. This was fixed with front striking, a design that had the key strike the front of the patient instead of the back. The first typewriter to do this was the directly visible in 1993 shift key. The shift key was introduced with the Remington #2 typewriter in 1878. This key would physically shift the basket of the typewriter or shift the paper holding carriage, and this allowed the use of paper and lowercase letters and enable numbers to shift into special characters. The shift key greatly reduced manufacturing cost of typewriters and greatly adapted technology. The three-bank typewriter. Certain model typewriters reduce the number of keys and keyboards by allowing each key type three different characters. Three-row typewriters were lighter and portable, allowing journalists to carry them around, especially popular with World War I journalists. Three-row typewriters, such as the Corona #3, had a tab key for uppercase letters and a fidge key for numbers and symbols. The tab key. In the late 19th centuries, the tab key was added to help business settings, and the typist would have to set tab stops, pre-designed locations that carriage would go to the tab key is pressed. This freed the operator from having to manually position the carriage. Okay, now the dead keys. Languages such as French, Spanish, and German had special signs on the top of the letter called diacritics. Mechanic typewriters would be created with the use of dead keys, keys that had diacritics assigned to them. This allowed the diacritic to be imprinted to the letter in the same location as the letter without moving the patient forward. And dead keys had a type bar print on them as to not strike the rod during typing. So color. Some ribbons in the typewriter were colored red or black stripes, each being half a width and running the entire length of the ribbon. Some typewriters had a lever, the lever that switched between the colors, usually used for bookkeeping entries and labeling. And if the typewriter had only one color, but had a color switch lever, this would switch the ribbon to a fresh one, refilling the ink. Noiseless typewriters. So the very first typewriter to have the sliding type bars that enable a typewriter to be noiseless was the American-made Rapid in the 1890s. The Rapid had two keys that made it stand out. A lift key that advances the plate into the next line, and a return key to automatically swing back to the right. And an entire page can be typed without your hands leaving the keyboard, and there was no bell. Electronic typewriters. The final development for typewriters was the electronic typewriter, replacing the type ball with plastic or metal daisy wheel mechanisms, and the first daisy wheel typewriters marketed was the Olivety Test 501. These typewriters had integrated circuits and electrical components. They were some called display typewriters or word processors. Typewriter decline. The decline in typewriters came due to the increasing dominance of personal computers, desktops, publishing, and the introduction of low-cost and high-quality laser inkjet printer technology and the use of the web publishing, email, text, messaging, and other electronic communication techniques in the United States. Fortunately, typewriters are still used in some places, such as funeral homes, certain new outlets, and some government offices. And typewriters are still available for purchase on websites such as Amazon and eBay. Thank you all for watching. And if you'd like to learn this lesson with a Cyber Seniors mentor, please go to this website or call this number to register for a one-on-one phone session. And we also host weekly tech drop-in sessions from 2 to 3 p.m. on Thursdays. Thank you.